What I really like that they did are those Pro-Line tires, man. These things have some traction. The pile of stuff I need to make videos on keeps growing and growing, and this is the stuff that I could show you guys. I have a couple things hidden that you can't see yet, but one thing that I can show you today is a new release from Axial. And it has to do with this lineup right here. So we've got a four-wheel steer Capra, we've got a four-wheel steer AX24, and the UTB18 is two-wheel drive until now. Here it is, the UTB18 Capra four-wheel steer, a ready-to-run unlimited trail buggy with rear steer right out of the box. Also has Pro-Line tires now and a new look. Wow, this looks way more aggressive out of the box than the previous versions. One of those versions was actually just an electronics refresh, but I love the new look. That's absolutely sick. So they've got two different liveries now. This is the Mickey Thompson version. There's also a King Shocks version, which has blue body panels and a gray cage on it. But this thing looks sick now with these Pro-Line tires. That's one of the changes to it. I'm gonna give you a little closer look in a second. First up, I wanna tell you what else comes in the kit. So you're gonna get this SLT3 radio system. You're also gonna get a USB-C charger, 4 AA batteries, an instruction sheet, of course, and a little baggie with some extra wheel hexes. Kit includes a 650 milliamp Spectrum LiPo battery pack. So yes, everything you need to run this is inside the box. Let's just do a quick run through on this buggy because I wanna get outside for some action. And if you do need a lot of extra detail, I'll have a link up above to some of the other videos I did on it where I break the buggy down. So this one, beyond the new graphics, it still has the Lexan molded interior, driver figureheads, fuel cell in the back for some scale detail, and we've got lots of LED lights. There's the light bar, the forward mounted lights, and then the headlights. And when these things are all on, they're kind of blinding when you're outside, and it's got to definitely light up the trails at night. This awesome looking cage acts as the full chassis for this, no internal plates or anything like that. Love that it has these boat sides, so it's got to slide over the rocks. It's just a really solid setup. The only thing is it's a little limited in terms of space for mounting optional electronics. You just need to get a little creative if you're going to go and upgrade this. The suspension looks just like it did on the previous models. We've got oil-filled coilover shocks. The bodies are threaded, so you can adjust the preload on the springs. There's some bump stops on the bottom that some people like to remove, so you get a little more flex out of this bad boy. And then it's got metal links on the bottom. It's a 4-link setup. I like that they have the metal links on the bottom. That's where you're gonna be scraping on the rocks, and it is more sturdy. The upper links are composite. You could always swap those out. They do have some options for those. The suspension geometry does work pretty well on this buggy. Got a lot of flex to it. Unfortunately, you don't have that optional rear riser block that you could upgrade to because we now have a servo mounted in the back. But there's always an option to go and extend the links in the rear with some optional parts. I know some guys like to do that, just throwing some things out at you guys. Gotta get you thinking about your upcoming projects, right? Now the driveline, there is a centrally mounted transmission. There's composite gears inside, but it is all supported by ball bearings. You've got slider drive shafts down to the front and rear axles. These are licensed Currie F9 axles. They're a portal style of axle. Gear reduction for that nice smooth crawl. You also get the benefit of the ground clearance with a portal axle. So if you've got some rocky terrain you want to tackle, this is definitely the way to go. There's a locker spool inside, metal ring and pinion, CVs out to those steering knuckles, and then it's pretty much the same in the rear. A full steering setup, so you get that four-wheel steer without having to go out and buy it on your own. And now maybe my favorite change to this buggy, it now has these Pro-Line Mickey Thompson Baja Pro X tires. These are a very soft compound tire. I'm not exactly sure what compound they're using on there. You can see those lugs just kind of folding over. It's got to get some grip. And then they're mounted to these B-lock style Holcomb wheels from Pro-Line. These look pretty sick with the semi-chrome on the inside, black spokes on the outside. It does feel like the foam insert is pretty stiff on this. I'm not sure if it's going to break in or maybe it's just going to stay like that. That's something to look out for. And finally, got to talk about the electronics that are installed in the rig. So they've got these Spectrum S664 servos front and rear mounted on the axles. These have metal gears and they are waterproof. And then check this out. Underneath, you could kind of see the SR515 receiver. They're moving over to these receivers on all their new releases, which is pretty cool because you have the extra ports in case you want to install something like LED lights or maybe a winch. Bolted to the transmission is a 37-turn 380 brushed motor. And because they have a separate receiver now, it has a new Spectrum speed control. It's the 1025, which is a 25 amp speed controller. Kind of small wires on this thing. It does have an EC2 plug, just in case you want to get some extra batteries. We'll see how that speed controller works when we head outside. I can't believe it's November. It's the perfect day out, guys. I actually just had to pull off my sweatshirt. It's getting so hot out right now. Just absolutely perfect day to test drive the UTB18 with the four-wheel steer. As you can see, I got the mirror going on right now, and you just gotta flip the button, and you can just cycle through all the different modes on the radio system. Makes it really easy to navigate. And yeah, it does take a little bit of time to get used to the switches and just get that muscle memory down of flipping it the way you want to. Maybe a knob would have been nicer, but I mean, for the price point, it does work well. Love that crab walk. So those standard size 664 servos they stuffed in there work actually really well. I mean, look at it. I got it maxed out right now on that rock. It's not giving out. And if I go flip the rear steer, look at it. It just moved. I mean, no stall, no lag time. So that's good. The issue I have with the Ready to Run gear is actually the speed controller. It's just not smooth enough for a crawler for me. It's just inconsistent, a little notchy, and it's definitely something I'm probably gonna upgrade as soon as I hit the workbench. What I really like that they did are those Pro Line tires, man. These things have some traction. Absolutely awesome. I mean, this is covered in silt and moss, and it's just muscling right up. Absolutely awesome. The only thing I would do is maybe add some brass weight up front just so those tires could grab a bit more, so they got some weight on them, you know? Got a challenge here with this rock face, a little off camber right here, and then I'm gonna have to go into mirroring, I think. There, I just attack this ledge, straighten it back out. When we crab walk it over here, that was fun. Man, I love that four-wheel steer option. Look how tight it turns with that mirror steering. That's killer. And those tires are really grabbing. More crawling is always better, right guys? I brought along the 110 scale Capra four-wheel steer with me. We're gonna have some fun with this one too. I'll have links for both of these in the video description below. If you're an online shopper, please consider using it. It's an affiliate link that helps me out here on the channel without costing you any extra. Haven't had the Capra four-wheel steer out in a while, so I thought I'd bring it along with me. It's still pretty much stock. I just added some Hyrax tires, and it's running on a 3S battery pack right now. This one came with the DX3 radio system. You still use the switch for the rear steer, but I like that it has this thumb knob on it. It makes driving one-handed so much easier. And the stock power system is actually pretty good on this one. It's nice and slow, smooth, predictable. Watch this. I mean, it's just maintaining its speed. That's a good rig. I actually like how the new UTB18 rear steer works, because with this one you have to cycle through the switch in order to get the type of steering response that you want. So it's a little bit more tricky to get used to. Mirror steer there. This is actually 3 positions, I believe. That's tight. Back it out one more, it's straight. Crab walk it. Yeah, so you gotta cycle through the positions on this one. But wow, this one is just so much more capable with that tire change. It was a good call. Well guys, it was an awesome day driving the UTB18, a lot of fun. I like some of the changes that they made to this, especially the wheels and tires. The body looks very cool. I like that, you know, it now has 4-wheel steer, which so many people wanted to put on this, so you don't have that extra cost. And speaking of cost, what is it? It's $280. So it's $30 more than the previous version, and I think it's worth that $30 because you're getting a really good set of tires, so you don't have to purchase that. And again, you don't have to purchase the whole rear setup and bolt that on. The one thing I'm not thrilled with is the speed controller. I mentioned that before, but again, if you're looking to get into one of these, or you know, you want to sell off your old one so you can get one with 4-wheel steer, I think that's the only major issue you're going to have to overcome. And I know a lot of people like to put brushless systems in, so you can just take out the brush system and get what you want specifically. But again, very capable crawler, like the new receiver in there, like the functionality of the radio system, the way it operates the steering. Axial did an awesome job with this revision.